Oh my god, it's early. Good morning, lovely people. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dave Keefe. This is ABL Reselling, and man, it's early today. In fact, so much so I keep getting passed by taxis as I've just got in the car taking people home after a night out. The reason it's so early and it's 3 a.m. is because today we're going international. Well, I say international, it is technically international, but don't get too giddy. I ain't getting on no plane, fool. That was a terrible Mr. T impression. I'm actually really buzzing about this one because this morning we're off over to Wales to Chirk car boot. A friend of mine has been telling me about this boot sale for probably getting on 2 years now, something like that. Never been. Things have always transpired against me, but today I set my stall out to get over there. It's not actually that far from me, to be honest. It's only about an hour and 20 drive, something like that. But it's one of those places that gets affected by the weather, and we live in the UK, so we're affected by the weather. If it's been chucking it down too much, the field is a bit of a no-go and it gets cancelled quite regularly. But yesterday was absolutely gorgeous. Today is looking like it's going to be very much the same, and this boot sale starts at 5 a.m. By that time, this time of year, it's probably going to be just starting to get light. Fingers crossed. Clocks have gone forward as well, so that's going to help a little bit. I am definitely going to need coffee this morning. Mr. Costa is going to get some money off me. Hopefully the lovely Welsh people will treat me kindly and not as some kind of invading tatster. Right, let's get on the road. Loads of change on me today, so definitely stopping for coffee, and I'll see you over there. I think I was being a bit ambitious saying it'll be lighter. Is this you on here, pal, is it? How much you on that?
£8.
Do 5?
No, it's worth that scrap, isn't it?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
You can't help it, still got to look.
Yeah, still got to look. Just drafting a copy after, is it?
I'd consider anything, really. Yeah.
There's a profit.
That's it, yeah. Absolutely. Where are you on now, bud?
Over.
I've got a good feeling about that. Whatever area you Paul.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks a lot, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
It's ugly as sin, but I think it'll do well. It's ugly as sin, but I think it'll do well.
I think so. It's just going mad, this vintage stuff,
Classy,
isn't it?
yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
How much is on your stereo?
Which one, mate?
Oh, sorry.
Can't see. Tenner. Guaranteed working.
Yeah. Would you do 7 for it?
I can't, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Of course, yeah, got to ask. It's going to be cracking the flags today. Cheers, my friend. Thank you. Maximus to be quite happy with that. Some kind of miniatures.
Brilliant, thank you very much. No problem. Sorry.
How much is that, lovely?
£5.
You got any money at what?
I think that's the only.
There you go, flower.
Yeah, look, there's some money.
Oh, brilliant.
For that
Thank
fireside
you.
set.
Brilliant, thank you.
How much are your trainers?
I wanted 10 for those that they've never been worn.
Yeah.
I'm open to offers, but
Yeah, I'll be away. I'll be at a fiver, to be honest.
go on, take them for a fiver. Take them.
Oh, you're a
Take
good
them
egg.
quick. Quick before I change my mind. Take them.
Thank you very much.
You don't want the others as well?
What size are they?
12.
They're 12, yeah.
I know that for a fact. I don't know they've been worn much either. You see that?
And how much on those, sorry?
Fiver?
Yeah, go on, we'll do a fiver for those.
Go on, quick. Throw them in, throw them in. You don't all these kids ones for £1, do you?
No, I don't really do I don't do anything with kids' clothes or shoes, really.
Clarks with lights, look at that.
Yeah.
35 quid a pair.
Oh, the brand, they're really expensive new as well, aren't
No,
they?
I know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day, folks. Thank you. Go on.
Yeah.
I'd just be kicking myself otherwise. It's because it's in really good nick. That's what I sold it. Quality merchandise.
Go and have a cup of
Cheers,
tea.
brother. I'll see you. Yeah.
Have a good day, man.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you for that.
What's your DVD player, pal?
Which one? Sorry, the
This
Blu-ray.
one, yeah,
Everything's in it. The remote's down the back here.
Oh, nice one, yeah.
There's your remote.
Tenner. I'll do it.
I'm here next week. I've got shitloads of stuff to get rid of. I've got
Can't leave it for that.
5 tellers as well to bring.
No way. Big on
No,
my mate.
10 of that, honest.
Cheers, pal.
You are? Did you get that? Yeah. I did, yeah. Yeah. Coming home with me, that. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
How much is a camera, boss?
What's on this?
How much is a camera?
£5. The charger and the
Oh, there's a battery there as well, isn't there?
batteries in it, and
Is-
there's spare battery in there, I think.
Is that the only bits that are with it? Yeah.
No, there's battery in the camera.
Oh yeah, brilliant, yeah. Do you know if it works?
It did last time I touched it.
Fair enough. You can't say fairer than that, can you?
That's been under the bed for God knows how long.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
I told me mate's my other camera.
Belts in that, thank you.
Cheers, man. Would you like 2 different cameras?
How much are your trainers?
Those can be £1.
Smashing. Can't leave them for £1, can I?
No,
Sorry,
can't go any lower than that,
cheers,
sorry.
love.
Thank you.
It's a good brand, look.
Yeah.
Right, just a coffee then?
Yes, please. What do you want? I don't know.
How much are your board games, ladies?
£1 each.
Smashing.
Yeah, dude.
How you doing, mate? You well?
I heard on your video last night
Oh, right, yeah, so much.
about the fire company.
Yeah. In fact, I just put one up. I tell you what, man, the boots are full already.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice like that.
Have a good day, bud.
£3.
Oh, do you know what? What a muppet.
Now you've got a job to do.
Of all the things I could have dropped. That was booby trap, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's lovely, thank you.
Thank you, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah, some money as well.
Alright.
There we are, thank
That's
you very
lovely,
much.
thank you
Cheers.
very much. Thanks.
How much are your shoes? Thank
Thank you
you,
very much.
cheers.
Thank you. 5. With the bag.
How much are your trainers?
£8.
And your shoes?
Yeah, they're £8, I think. Yeah, it's the Kurt Geigers that are 10.
Right.
The brown ones behind you.
Yeah. Would you do 10 for the both?
For which ones?
The shoes and the trainers.
I do 12.
That's fair.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm looking for one in my pocket in my hand.
Scare yourself.
See, ya.
I do that all the time.
See our glasses on the head thing, innit?
Cheers. Oh,
Right.
just drop one then.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a good day, ladies. Cheers.
Aldi.
See there, Dave, that's what we're stopping on. The holes hadn't gone through properly. Yeah. And you got these ends on, so all we need to do is take that off.
How much have you got on this one?
Sorry.
5 on these.
Cheers, man. No 5 notes, sorry. Thank you very much, boss. Have a good day.
And
How much is your Henry, love?
25.
How much you got on your lid, pal?
40. So the own helmet 2 weeks ago, I just Mrs. insisted if you change your bike, you've got to have a new helmet.
Fair enough.
I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Mars broke something.
All the prices on it, by the way.
Yeah, no worries, bud. How much is the stereo?
Right, what we need to do now be
12 quid. Would you do 10 on it? Oh no, you're alright, I got change.
Bye. You have fun if you good.
Thank you very much.
mate,
Cheers. How much is your PS2?
Again, mate.
How much is PS2?
There's been an offer on it.
Have you
I'll
got?
be honest, I don't know much about them, so.
Alright. The clincher would be if it's got the AV cable for it, really.
Oh, right.
And would you do $5?
Say again.
Would you do $5?
What is it you want? Just that?
Yeah, just that.
Yeah, go on then.
Thank you very much, sir.
Ready, don't you?
Yeah.
Go? Go for your answer.
leave the hat.
Leave the hat. Oh my god.
How much is the what?
How much for that? 5.
Have you got another? Have Have you on that?
We've got 12 on that. It's on eBay for 20. How much for that? What's that doing there? It's a family heirloom. How you getting on, Dave?
Not too bad, boys, I know.
Dan.
Dan, nice to meet you, Dan. Yeah, I'm flagging a bit now.
Yeah.
I filled the car already.
Yeah. Seen you go past with empty trolley
I see,
twice
yeah.
now, but I know it's been full of there.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. How much have you got on these?
£2 each for those.
How much are your mugs?
Right. Cupcakes and mugs, £2 each.
Would you do buy a 4 get 1 free?
I tell you what, I'll take £8.50.
Yeah, sounds fair to me. I don't like to be seen with an empty trolley. It's bad for my reputation. And how much are your jigsaw?
Take £3.50 for the jigsaw.
Do 150, round it out to a tenner.
No.
Nah, no worries. Yeah, go on. Do these have a name for them?
They basically they're reading comprehension cubes, so it's for guided reading.
Yeah.
So that's what they're for. So when a child's read a story, read a book, they'll toss the cube and then answer the question after they've
What a
they've
great
read.
idea that is.
Yeah.
I've never seen such a thing before.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Is it 350 or 250 for
It was
this?
£3.50 for the.
Oh right, okay, I thought you said 250,
No,
sorry.
£3.50.
Have a good day folks, cheers.
And you, take care.
£1 for those, please.
£1.
They're size 6-7 ish.
It's going to be worth £1, isn't it?
Were you going to buy another pair for £1?
Exactly, yeah. Bit of spit and polish on those would be right.
No name on them?
No. They kind of look G-plan, but they're a bit modern for G-plan, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they're not G-plan.
No.
None of that.
That style, yeah. Nice though. How much you got of it?
20. Right in vogue at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Stick them on the net, you get 60 or 70 for them. You waited it?
I've done really well today.
You have?
Yeah,
What, buy it?
yeah. I feel this like 4 times over now.
Have you? What time are you here?
Oh, but I've just come shooting off now. This morning I was here for 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been for about 3 years. I haven't been
No.
for, obviously with the pandemic.
Yeah. Well, it's my first time at this one. I get all over the place.
Yeah.
So
As well, this one.
that's it. Would you do 15 for those?
At the moment, I've only just come, you see. There's
Sure,
been a
yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
take 20, but it worth 20, isn't it?
I'll only be kicking myself otherwise. Cheers,
Nice
my
one,
friend.
thank you.
Thank you. Oh my good grief, I'm in love with this boot sale. Chirk has been very, very good to me today. The boot is absolutely rammed. No idea how much I've spent. Not a lot though. And I've certainly got incredible value for money. Now it's only just 8:10, so what I'm going to endeavour to do is hit another boot sale on the way home, because I'm passing Warrington just off the motorway as well, so I've not really got any excuses. I'm passing the front door, so I might as well nip in. So in summary, highly recommend Chirk. Let's get on the road. It's 9:30. Let's see if there's anything left at the Warrington boot sale. How much is your jacket, love?
40 for those.
40.
Yeah.
Is it just a jacket? Have you got the pants for him as
No,
well?
just the jacket.
Yeah. How much have you got on that, boss?
25.
The battery. It's got a new battery with it. You're going to Google it, price goes up.
Gotta do me due diligence, and I. What'd you do? 20 on it?
No, I'm going to stick with that. It's got a new battery with it.
Yeah.
So, that's probably worth that. If I can't sell it, I'll do what you've just done, put it on eBay.
Let's see, yeah. Sometimes they have a date on, don't they? Like a manufacture date. There you go, Paul.
No.
Cheers.
Cheers, thanks.
You got that, pal? Bass speakers?
It's all them, mate, sorry.
Are they?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fire right here, pal.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks, pal.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
So, two of those, the boots and this shirt. And if you want the bag.
Have you got the speaker connections for this?
I've not on there, sorry.
Yeah, no worries, man. It's just a bugger to get hold of.
Avernus.
David Venice, yeah.
Right. Hello there, I watch your show all the time.
Oh, nice one. Cheers, man.
Yeah. Those, they're like banging awesome on.
Yeah.
Just the ends.
How much have you got on it?
30.
It's tiny, that. It's worth that all day long.
Nice,
I just can't be asked sourcing the bloody plugs from. I'll have a look what else you've got anyway, but
I've got loads of other stuff, hi-fi stuff, and other things.
do you do house clearances and that, is it?
Yeah.
Same thing, yeah.
TX. So all working that one.
Yeah. What have you got on that?
20.
I am tempted, you know.
There were some nice collectible cars.
It's been a while. I've sold a few of these,
Yeah.
but I haven't had any for a while, so I haven't. You've got to keep on top of checking your prices, haven't you? Because otherwise you're gonna come a cropper with that in the past. You know, just out of habit picking stuff up and then getting it home and finding the prices falling through the floor.
It's like those Dr. Martens last week, was it?
Yeah.
Last week.
Painful, that, mate. Fucking painful. Honestly, the thing is that made it worse. I bumped into about half a dozen people I know. I was giving it, you'll never guess what. Like an idiot.
Yeah.
You do 15 on it?
To you, yes.
Guy, I'll show you around. Good man.
Oh, the bag's a £5.
Over
I
there.
seem to do this more regularly, but yeah, with weather like this, I'm gonna have to go further afield.
Exactly, yeah.
They're vintage ones.
They are, aren't they? Fagan. That's just surface gunk, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think they'll clean up quite well. It's just because I've done so well this morning, I'm just looking at stuff thinking how much work is going to go into it. And about the clock.
£5.
Yeah, I'll do that for a £5.
Want some antenna charger?
No, I'm good, sir.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
Alright. I've got, give it a load.
Have you got the key for that?
I did have, but I haven't got it now.
Yeah.
I'm searching all my keys,
Yeah.
and I haven't come across it.
They're easy lost, aren't they?
Yeah. We complained about them.
You can't put your prices up because you've got an hammer. It's a fiver area.
That's very generous. One was hiding in there.
Top man.
We got him.
Cheers, Russ.
Thanks. So that stereo down there,
Yeah.
if I had the speakers,
Yeah.
that would be better.
Yeah, but even if you just had the speaker cables.
The ends.
Yeah. Because that's
I'm
they
supposed
just
to get rid of those ones of mine.
Yeah.
Because I use them to test.
Yeah, because they're quite difficult to source because it's obviously old gear now.
Yeah.
Sorry mate, I was just gonna look in. I didn't do that to be awkward, I promise.
Most people do.
I have to tell you,
Yeah,
the CD is temperamental.
gotcha.
It's temperamental. Everything works, but the CD is temperamental.
Yeah.
And I've got the remote as well.
You quite often go knackered, don't they? On that.
On that. Well, that's me.
It's me dinner bell.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh yay. 5. 2 quid. I thought it might be worse than me.
Right. He'll clean up that.
Yeah.
I need to get so you don't sell Burscough, do you? Brown sauce, that work? Oh, top man.
I can sell you a load of these.
I'm not sure that'll work on Burscough. Brown sauce. I've never heard that. I'll give it a go. I've got some in my fridge.
Have you?
What was your name again? Sorry.
Stuart.
Stuart. It's a pleasure to meet you, boss.
Yeah.
Thanks very much indeed.
Yeah, no, I'll keep them watching so you're okay.
Thought I'd try again on my way home. Would you do 25 on it?
I can't, it's because it's my dad's and he's asking for it.
Has he given you any wriggle room?
From 50 to about 40, yeah.
Oh, I really like it though.
Man.
I mean, I could do 30.
How about you put it on and try it on and see?
It's not for me.
Oh, is it not?
No, that's the thing. I'm doing the old piney voice tonight. Well, only knobheads do that. Sorry. 35. That's my top line as well.
So I'll ask him.
Thank you, I appreciate
give him
it.
a call.
Thank you. He's going to a biker as well, tell him so.
He'll like it.
Yeah.
What do you do 35 when you're jacket the leather one? Is that alright, it's going to a biker, so alright. See you later, bye. He went, as long as it's going to a biker, yeah.
Oh, top man, top man. He's a legend.
Yeah, he's hardly ever worn that. He got knocked off a few times, bought that and then thought, no, I'm not getting back.
Yeah. Now, do you know what? I've had this conversation loads, obviously, because I'm in a bike scene as well.
Yeah.
I had a bad smash in 2008,
Yeah.
and it sent me the opposite way. It made me more determined to ride.
See, his first one did.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as generic as it sounds, when they say none of them was my fault, they actually weren't his fault.
Yeah,
any of them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the second one was pretty bad. On his way to work, he was like, no, that's not me, that.
Yeah.
So can you convince her to let me have a bike? Come on, please, tell her all the great things.
Do you know, I was talking to a bloke who was with his wife at Bolton last weekend, and he was selling all his bike gear because she made him give his bike up. I wanted to give the guy a cuddle.
Yeah, you see, I would never do that. Right, let's put this into perspective. He's got no depth of perception, right?
Okay.
So a lot of the time, we're in the car and I have to tell him to stop.
As much as it pains me to say, she's probably right.
Oh,
yeah, she's
thank
probably
you so
right.
much.
Somebody's not getting paid. I would have paid you to say it.
Don't stop you getting the track though, does it? Track still rock. It's really hard to get your knee down on the track though.
Yeah.
Like really hard.
Cheers.
Have a good day, see you now. What is it the kids say? Oh my days. That was well worth stopping. I have no idea, I'm going to get all this in here. Chuck it in, sort it later. What a successful day. What a successful day. I was excited this morning because I thought it might be, and it turns out I was quite right. Obviously I didn't know I would be, but that's the way it's played out. Right, let's get this little lot home and take you through what I picked up and how much I'm expecting to list it for. But no motorcycle playtime today, so I might just treat myself to a little siesta, because everybody loves a nap on a Sunday after a boot sale. I won't have anybody argue with me on this point. It's a very, very, very important part of the tradition. I'll see you on the flip side, guys. Bonkers. Just absolutely bonkers. That's the only way to describe today. I'm going to keep you in suspense for the gross listing value today. But what I will tell you is the total spend today was almost exactly £230. And for that, I picked up 37 items. And I think I may well have a new favourite car boot. So, you know, now I don't want to be unfaithful to Burscough, because Burscough's been very good to me over the years, but it's got a contender, and it's a really, really strong contender. In fact, so much so, I wish I could clone myself and do both in the same day. Maybe I'll give it a go one day. Anyway, I'm going to get into it. Obviously take you through what I picked up and how much it's getting listed for. Stand by. Now that's what I'm talking about. That is a haul. That is a haul and a half. I'm so happy. I'm very, very happy with this. Can you tell I'm happy? Right, let's get into it. Now, this is my first pickup of the day, and this is probably the most ugly thing, not only that I've ever picked up, but I've probably ever seen in my life. It's obviously a magazine rack. Needs quite a lot of cleaning, actually. But this is a 1960s magazine rack. There is actually a comp for this exact one, but I didn't check comps on it at all. I mean, it was pitch black at the time, but that's no excuse. But I just got a feeling about it. Sometimes it's like a spidey sense. I'm sure a lot of people watching this video will know exactly what I'm talking about. You just get a feeling that it's something. And I'll be honest with you, I can't remember why I didn't check comps. But I took a bit of a gamble on it, picked it up, and the listing value on this, believe it or not, is £30. I might even up that a little bit, but I've just noticed actually on the bottom one of the bolts is missing. In fact, I might be able to transfer one of those onto that. I'll have a play with it anyway, but I don't think replacing it will do it justice, so I'll probably list it as it is with that missing rather than try and botch it kind of thing, because obviously people who buy this, they'll want genuinely vintage item. So £30 listing value on that. Next, these aren't vintage, they're more retro, but the style of these lamps, the Corinthian column lamps, with the exception of a bit of disruption in the base there, and they're in good nick. When I say they're in good nick, I'm entirely discounting the shades from this, because they have been battered about, the marked, the creased, there's cracked bits inside, they're just nasty. So I'm just going to take those off and bin them and just list the lamps as they are. They're not, like I said, they're not vintage, they're brushed brass. I paid very, very little for these, very little. This style goes really, really well. I'm going to sell them together, and the listing value on those £25. Now I know I've said historically that I prefer Vans over Converse, but I'm not averse to Converse, particularly when the brand spanking new, decent ladies size, which is a size 5. In fact, they're not brand new. Remember kids, just because somebody tells you it's brand new and it's in the box, don't assume it. Didn't I do this last weekend with a pair of Dr. Martens? Anyway, moving swiftly on. If these were brand new, you're probably looking at around about the £30 mark. But in this, I mean, they are in good condition. It's just the bottoms that all wipe up quite nicely. There's no marks on the canvas or anything like that. But even in this condition, listing value of £20. It will help for aesthetic purposes on the listing that they're boxed as well. First time I've ever picked up these, but I'm led to believe they're a good brand. Obviously I check comps on these as well, because even though I recognise the brand, it doesn't necessarily mean that this model is a good buy. Checking inside, it's in very, very good condition actually. I know these are faked and I will do my due diligence on it, but it seems to be all kosher and hunky-dory to me. So these GHD hair straighteners, they're the V Gold Amber Sunrise, that's the model. Listing value on those £50. Nice standard pickup. I think I might have run out of AV cables for this. I'm fairly confident I've got a controller for it, but for what I paid for it, it's worthwhile sourcing the bits. I've certainly got a figure of 8 lead. On their own, as long as obviously you can test that they're working, on the console on their own, you're probably looking at around about the £25 mark. But because I'm going to bundle this with cables and games and controllers that I've either got or will source on the cheap, if I have to source controllers, then it'll probably be an aftermarket one, to be fair. So the listing value I've got on that as a bundle is £45. It's been a while since I've seen this version of Downfall. Downfall's a good solid pickup. This is in very good condition. I might give the box a bit of a wipe, but there's no split corners and it's in generally good nick. I have got some of the counters as well. I did check it, but often, because they're only tiny and piddly, the counters go missing, but I've got a bag of spares anyway that I can make up. You need to be making sure, if you have to make them up, that the colours match, because there are colour variations as well. There's a few different, in fact, they're still making Downfall as a modern version of it. This is a vintage version. I'm going to put a date of perhaps 70s, early 80s on this. As far as this game's concerned, the older the better, they sell stronger. But this version, lots and lots and lots of evidence to support a £20 listing. Fishing gear, I've only ever picked up one before, and it was a DM angling, so this one stood out for me. It needs a bit of a clean up, to be fair, but the last one that I had, it was in much the same nick, but the extending legs were completely missing on it as well. This folds flat, so obviously dead handy for sticking in a bit of a car if somebody wants to escape fishing. Not my bag, but hey, each their own. So I'll give it a good scrub down. I'm going to put a listing value of £30 to £40 on this, and where I end up with the value would very much depend on what it looks like after I've cleaned it up. But that's a pretty fair valuation, because the last one I sold that wasn't in as good a condition as this, and like I say, with the missing legs, went for £30 anyway. Now, I actually walked away and went back for this. I don't know much about longboards, and I have sold a few in the past. I've sold different manner of skateboards, and they do vary so much in price. The reason that I went for this one is because there are comps for this brand, which is Kryptonics. Obviously quite a nice graphic on the bottom, which is a good selling point. The wheels are in good nick. This looks pretty new, actually. You can usually tell with the wheels because they feel just rough as a badger's bottom, but the board is marked kind of thing. There's a couple of scuffs on it, nothing significant, like I say, and I just want to call it the play area is in pretty minty condition. So I second guessed myself and went back on this because there is only a few comps, and because of how much the guy wanted it for, I did actually chip him a bit on the price, which is always a Brucey bonus. But for this Kryptonics longboard, I'm going to put a listing value of £50 on it. And I'm probably undervaluing that because there are comps at 75, I think. I saw something like that. So I might be undervaluing it. But obviously, before I come to actually listing it, I'll revisit my valuations anyway. Now, after passing one up last weekend and one of you lovely subscribers mentioning it to me, this fireside set, I was going to pick it up. Can't actually remember how much I paid for this actually, but it's not very much. I have actually got a shout out on this one as well, because inside was this. So shout out to the ABL reselling community member Lorna. This says Cozy Toes on it, and she's telling me that this is for pulling out the grate on a fire. And I thought it was something to do with shoes, to be honest. Cozy Toes, hey, who knew? So thanks very much indeed, Lorna, much appreciated. And also I got a tip as well as far as brass concerned, because I've got something else that's brass that I'm going to come to a little bit later. Speaking to another customer of the stall that I was on for that one, I was saying I haven't got any brass though, so he said we'll use brown sauce. Now he might just be winding me up, of course, but it just seemed like so much of a random thing to say for it not to have legs. So I'm going to try some brown sauce and clean it out. Do you think I should? No, I'm not going to vlog it. No, not in case. I don't mind people taking the mickey out of me. I really, really don't. In fact, I even get a bit of a kick out of it, if I'm honest. But brown sauce on brass, never heard of that before, but I am definitely going to give it a go. So anyway, this fireside set, they call them fireside companion set. I've got a sneaking suspicion that the poker might be from a different set because it's got a different head. But even so, aside from needing cleaning, it's in good nick. It's not been kicked about too much. The listing value I'm going to put on that is £30 to £35. And again, thanks Lorna. Now these, when I was a teenager, I would have killed for something like this. This is a Panasonic RX ES29, obviously a boombox. Does need a cable, but I've checked in the battery compartment. It's usually a good indicator of if it's been looked after or not, because they can be obviously show signs of battery leakage and nastiness basically. So I always check the battery compartment on these. Again, figure of 8 cable, so got loads of those in my boxer bits where I keep all my wires and whatnot. Again, aside from needing a clean, it's not been knocked about too much either. The grills haven't got any dents. I'm pretty confident I can get those up pretty nicely. There's no horrible scratches. Originally this would have had a remote, but not really fussed. You'd expect something like this to have lost its remote. So listing value on that, £40. And next, some obviously similar devices as a Sony CFD6. They're in much the same condition really. Mostly just need a wipe and no dents in the grills, which will make the pictures look a lot nicer. Again, check the battery compartment, check for leakage, a sign of debris. Figure of 8 lead, which I've got, again, which it will need, so not bothered about that. Listing value on the Sony CFD6, £35. Okay, now we're getting into some serious stuff, because this Blu-ray player, picked this up in the dark as well, but I did obviously have the torch. Don't know why I just said that. I'm probably still giddy about picking it up in the first place. But anyway, looked in it, it's absolutely in immaculate condition. It's not new, but it's got everything with it. It's even got HDMI cable, and for some bizarre reason, it's got 3 remotes with it, which is now making me feel a little bit nervous. But obviously for the video, I'm going to assume that it's working and it is in mint condition. I did have a look at it, but obviously you can't test them on site. So the fact that it's got remotes, the fact that it's got 3 remotes could either be an additional bonus that I wasn't aware of, or a worrying sign. Only testing will tell. But anyway, the listing value on this Samsung Blu-ray player, it's a high-end one as well actually, because looking at the lid, not only is it a Blu-ray player, it's got Netflix, iPlayer, YouTube, Amazon Prime and whatnot, a 500 gig hard drive as well. Check the comps on this, because still I can't believe the comps on this particular model. It's a Samsung BDH8500M, and the listing value on it is a whopping £160. And the reason, I mean, again, I'm going to assume that it's working at this stage, and the reason that the fact it's got 3 remotes with it is a Brucey bonus is because it's fair to assume that this player only ever came with 1 remote, and Samsung remotes can go for £15–20 in their own right. So absolute worst case sky falling in scenario, and the player is absolutely knackered and not even worth being a paperweight, the remotes on their own will more than get my money back. And obviously I've got a nice box and some spare cables. Always look on the bright side. But £160 listing value for a Blu-ray player, it's still possible. Now I can't say I never, it's really rare I'll pick up a jigsaw. I never pick up used jigsaws because it's just too much like hard work. Not into jigsaws myself to warrant doing it for fun and then selling them afterwards. But this is brand new and sealed. Ravensburger, a well-known brand as far as puzzles go. Because it's a Disney puzzle as well, additional keyword selling point. Not massive margin on these, to be honest, because even being brand new and being Disney, I'm still looking at a listing value of around the £15 mark. Now this copy, I haven't seen one of these in the world for quite some time. This is often a game that's overlooked. I'm pretty confident that this is the original one. I think there's been maybe 4 or 5 versions of Copy, and the most recent copy isn't really that old, but this one I'm confident it's the earliest, or one of the very early versions. And because it doesn't look like much, I mean, looking inside, it's just a board and some counters and that kind of thing, and a shaker. Looks like I might have to put a dice with it, but I've got loads actually. Need to be counting all the pieces, making sure there's 4 of each, because they're quite difficult to source original ones after the fact. But as cheap and cheerful as this looks, this game goes for £20 to £25. So stick it on your bolo, because I paid £1 for that. I'm not saying you'll pay £1 for it, but people just don't know the value of it. That's, as board games go, that's not bad value at all. Another pair of Converse. These are a larger size 12. They're going to need a bit of cleaning, but it is just cosmetic wear. There's no damage. Sometimes the soles separate from the canvas or the toe, so that's one to be watching for. Obviously doing the split test on the sole. Because they're a decent size, fairly good condition. Again, I'm going to put a listing value of £20 on these. More trainers. These are the Adidas Originals Rivalry. Aside from a little bobbling inside, which I have a device for, which shaves off bobbles, cost £3 on eBay. It's called a fuzz shaver or something like that. I'll show it you. So to get rid of bubbles, need one of these. They're about £3 delivered off eBay, and they're just tremendous. So you just basically just give it a shave almost, and it comes off straight away. Fantastic bit of kit, dead cheap. Stick it in your toolbox. So anyway, going off on a tangent, these Adidas Originals Rivalry, very, very good condition. Again, bit of a wipe down, good to go. Listing value on those, £25. Now, I was going to say these were a gamble, but they're not. They're not a gamble at all. It is such a no-brainer because I paid £1 for them. And not just that, you've got to look past the cobwebs. These have clearly been in the garage for a good long while, and they need new laces. They need a significant cleaning. And on one of the boots, it looks like the tops had a go at by some creepy crawlies or another. I checked all the fastenings. They work well. Fastenings have got a bit of rust on them, but these are known as aggressive skates. There's no stopper on them, and they've got a skirt, if you will, to the wheels. I've checked comps on the brand Psycho, nothing coming up, but I've sold skates like this for very, very strong money. In some instances, well over £100. I'm not expecting anywhere near that for these. I don't know why I had to think about this when I was at the store, because the guy said it's £1. What do you want? And I think where my head was at is I'm not a massive fan of picking up items that are going to take a lot of time to clean or need some TLC or just steal my time from me. I basically want life between purchase and listing as painless and as relatively simple as possible. But these are going to be worthwhile putting the effort in, because even though they're not a recognised brand, because of the style, because of the size, which is an adult size 6, I'm going to put a listing value of £30 on those. Now, there's a good chance that if I do a good job cleaning these up, they might look amazing. Obviously, it's no getting around that sock bit. It's going to look tatty, and obviously the rust is going to be very difficult to tart it up. But even so, I think £30 listing value on those is really comfortable. Now, I keep looking at copper kettles. I have sold a couple in the past. This one, you expect the odd, I didn't. It's mostly just cosmetic dust and crap, basically. It won't need much of a polish. People expect stuff like this to have small dents in it because it's a vintage item. Now, if you can prove these are made in England, that adds to the value of them. And I think I looked at this more out of habit than anything else, because I did pay up a little bit in hindsight, but I wasn't to know at the time. Well, I was to know at the time. I should have done my research, but not staggering margin in it, but still margin nonetheless. The listing value on this copper kettle, £25. It's been a while since I've seen a pair of these in the wild. These are Lokes. Square toe, be able to stretch that out with the shoe expanders for the pitches. Decent size as well at a size 8.5. Now, the value on Lokes is pretty consistent. The better the condition, the higher the ticket price. But even in this condition, which is fair to good, I would say, just needs some boot polish on the bottom rim, and they're all good to go. There is wear to them, obviously, but even so, in this condition, listing value for these shoes, £40. Now, I think these are old people shoes. I might have really offended people by saying that. I'm sorry, but they look like old people shoes to me. These are fit flops. I have picked up fit flops in the past, and they tend to go quite well because they are really comfy. Ugly as sin, but really comfy. Nice bread and butter pickup actually with these, because again, they're quite often sold quite cheaply. Listing value on those, £20. There's another example of looking past the grime. In the heel of these Asics Nimbus, there is somewhere, there's a little hole there. These actually, in good condition, second-hand, go for quite a decent amount of money for second-hand trainers. These have got quite a bit of wear to the soles. I'm confident I can get these looking nice. Probably just give them a trip through the washing machine and see what happens. In In good condition, you're looking at north of £30. In this condition, I might be being a little bit overconfident with a valuation on these at £18. I'm second guessing that valuation already. Right, I'm going to stick to my guns at the minute. See how they come out in the wash. Couple of purchases from a guy who identified himself as a subscriber. So big shout out to Stuart. Really nice to meet you, my friend. First of the two pickups from Stuart was this vintage brass wooden handle bell. It's actually when I was at Stuart's stall when one of the other buyers at the stall mentioned brown sauce to clean up brass. It tickled me if nothing else. It probably does work. We're going to give it a go. Anyway, if you think it does, if you heard that before now, just hit me up in the comments below this video because I think it's a ridiculous suggestion. Anyway, listing value on this brass bell, £15. Now, when I went up to see these tables, I thought they were G-plan. They're very G-plan looking tables. Likely to be turn of the century. There is the odd mark on the bodies and on the corner, but the surface of each table is in pretty good nick actually. And even though they're not G-plan, I've had quite recent precedent of selling a nest of tables that look similar to this, sort of like really kind of quirky looking, interesting, perhaps vintage might be being a bit generous for these, but even so, it's the aesthetics. The pictures will sell these tables. The last set I sold went for £80, and I'm going to stick my neck out a bit on these because I think these look nicer, and I'm going to stick a listing value of £90 on them. But nested tables, even though they are heavy, usually they're not that expensive to post because of the size of them, because of the dimensions, so they're always worth looking at. I mean, you would not believe on some of the comps, particularly with G-Plan, because it's a very recognized brand, but even non-branded older turn of the century tables, always worth checking out because you can be talking in some cases into the hundreds of pounds. The second pickup from my new friend Stuart is this Teak TDX300i stereo. Now, important point to note on these, the specific audio cables for these, so make sure that you find the audio cables with these, because without the audio cable you can't connect the head unit to the base, and they're difficult to come by and usually quite expensive, relatively speaking, for leads. I only mention that is because I fell foul of it the last time I picked up. In fact, I just picked up the head unit and the two flat panel speakers. But it wasn't a total loss because the speakers will sell on their own for £15–20, that kind of mark. But complete and with all the cables, I've got all the cables. It's the older iPod dock, but again, these days, if somebody's buying this, it'll be for a garage or because Teak is a quality brand that people recognise. It's a bit of a heavy lump of a thing as well. It would have originally come with a remote, but it doesn't matter so much because it all operates on the front panel. Listing value on this stereo, £50. Now, some just unbelievable pickups. The first of which, this is tested and working. It had battery in it enough to test it on site. This is a Nikon Coolpix L810. I just caught my own reflection in the screen and look like a bleeding Teletubby. We've tested this is working, very good condition, boxed. It actually takes batteries rather than being rechargeable, so there was no power lead in it. There wouldn't be. It has got its AV lead and it's in its box. It's got its software, CD and manual. Listing value on this camera, £85. And if you didn't think that was impressive, the next one is even more so impressive. This is a Fujifilm HS30EXR. I might keep this to play with myself. The guy said he bought himself a new camera and this had been living under his bed for quite a while. Now, obviously I haven't tested this, but it came with a spare battery and its battery charger. Nothing else, but not really that bothered about that because on its own, with all its charger, this camera has an evidenced listing value of £120. Now, you guys normally know I don't normally tell you how much I paid for things. I'd rather tell you what I paid for everything, but I'm really a bit chuffed about this. I suppose it's showing off. There's no way to butter it up. I only paid £5 for this camera. I'm very, very happy about that. 120 quid camera, just under his bed. Oh well. Now, I went back to this jacket after I'd left it when the girl told me the price because I didn't really want to pay that as much for it. In hindsight, I should have just taken her arm off anyway, but I did go back to it and she did knock me a little bit of money off. This is an Arlen Ness leather motorcycle jacket. If you remember me saying from the last video that leather motorcycle jackets don't always have back armour in, but it's important that they've got the elbow and shoulder in at the very least. I mean, it's a bonus if they've got the back armour in, but not everybody likes it in there, so it's quite often taken out. This is in stunning condition, really cool graphic on the back as well. Arlen Ness, it's actually two brothers. Arlen and Corey Ness were legendary bike builders, and in motorcycle circles, Arlen Ness is a very well-known product line. I think the girl said it had only been worn a couple of times, and going off the condition, I can absolutely believe it or not as well, because there's not even any squash bugs on it that you'd expect either, because it's in such good condition. And I might even be undervaluing this a little bit as well. The listing value I'm going to put on it is £80. Now, I should really have looked at this a bit harder. This Sony Video 8 camcorder, it looks cosmetically in very good condition. I've sold a number of Sony Handycams over the years. There are some tapes with it. There's actually 3, is it, batteries? There's one on it, and there's a slim battery there, but there's no charger for the batteries, which I will have to source, because this cable is for something completely different. No idea what. It's got Samsung on a label on it, so it's definitely not for this. It has got a remote as well and a new battery, which appears to be entirely unopened. I was expecting to see a date on the battery, actually, because like with a lot of batteries, if they're very old, they're no more use than ornament anyway, because they just go knackered in storage. Anyway, I'm going to test this thoroughly, of course. In an ideal world, that new battery will fit straight on, and I'll be able to test it without actually ordering a charge dock for the batteries. Let's just whip the battery off, because I'm not seeing a port to put the power line directly into the camera. So we're just assuming it's working at this stage for valuation. Did pay up a little bit for this with it being untested, so it's making me slightly nervous, but not too much, because again, assuming it's working, listing value on that will be £90. Now, unlike last week where I had 2 whopping great stinking fails that fortunately didn't cost me very much money, this was probably my only fail this week. And it was nothing to do with Stuart, my new friend. It was his stall I bought it off. He was just selling his stuff, and it was down to me to do my research. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I like to give back to the reselling community kind of thing, particularly if people are supporting the channel. So I didn't, I just went off historical kind of experience with these clocks. Some of them still go for decent money, but not all of them. This Lego Darth Vader, I'll be lucky to make my money. I will make my money back on it, but there'll be pennies profit in it. It does work, but the key difference with this clock that turns it from an £8 clock into a £20 clock is the cloak. Darth Vader has a cloak. If he's got a cloak, you'll get closer to £20, but without its clock, tenner, I would say, around about that kind of mark. So that's the listing value I'm going to put on this, and I'll be perfectly honest, I might even have to stick it on at less than that. Lastly, now these are a gamble, but I've got to, my spidey sense is kicking in with these again. There's 5 lots of comprehension card packs for year groups. What are we on? 5, 6, 5, 2 and 3. And maths and free reading comprehension card packs. I've never seen these before. I think these are just teaching aids probably. So, but I haven't had experience in selling items that are synonymous with learning at home. Now, this kind of stuff during lockdown was gold, absolutely gold, because, well, I'm stating the obvious, because of the nature of the lockdowns and what they did to education, blah blah blah. I won't get into the politics of it. People were educating the kids at home. Stuff like this was absolutely gold. Obviously that's not the case anymore, so there won't be as much of a premium on stuff like this, but nevertheless, and even though there's little to no comps on these packs, I've got a feeling on them. I've just got a feeling on them. We're not talking massive money, but I didn't pay very much for them. What I'm going to do is put a listing value of £10 per pack on these. And again, time will tell, but my spidey sense is on form lately, I tell you. It's on form. Right, let's get some totals. Now, I have actually got a shout out for my for today's trip to the Church car boot. Like I said, it was my first time there and it blew me away. It's absolutely brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I will definitely be going back there again, and probably very soon as well. But the shout out is to Brian Harris. He's a guy I've worked with for a number of years. He's also on the ABL reselling community Facebook group, and if it wasn't for Brian, I wouldn't have known about it. I probably would have found out about it eventually, to be honest. But I'm not taking it away from the shout out. Thank you very much indeed, Brian. You're a legend. Let's get into the totals. Total spend today was almost exactly £230, and for that I picked up 37 items. Now, all the valuations that I've put on these items will be plus postage, and of course that's a gross figure, so there's fees to come out and money put aside for the tax. But also for slower sellers and ones where I've just been wrong, I'll have to reduce price over time. So as a snapshot in time, right at this moment, these are my listing values. I'm not going to put a drum roll in it this time. Oh, just get on with it, Dave. Dave, just get on with it. But it's a new record, people, a new personal best for me from a single day at the boot sales. The gross listing value for all these items is £1,338. Now that is it's not just a good day at the office, it's a damn good day at the office with a cherry on top and sprinkles. Really, really chuffed. Now, you guys know I love the feedback from you from stuff that I've missed. So as I've been going around both boot sales, both Church and Warrington today, if you spotted anything that I've missed, that on the tables, on the floor, whatever, hit me up in the comment section below, because I know obviously there's nothing I can do about it after the fact, but the information that I get from you guys in the comments, it helps me to look out for stuff in the future, and it won't necessarily be stuff that I know about it. So it really is a good take back from me as far as doing these videos go. Now, to everybody who took the time out of their day to come and say hello to me out in the field today, thank you very much indeed. It's been a pleasure meeting you. If you've enjoyed this video, got any kind of entertainment out of it, any kind of value, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help the channel, helps the reach. The last probably 3 or 4 videos now are really getting traction and smashing it, and that's all with thanks to you guys spreading the love. I'm sure you're already a subscriber. Obviously, if you're not, smash the subscribe button. Notification bell will give you a notification of when I post a video up next. Now, thank you very much indeed for the support for this channel, guys. It really is appreciated. I've been Dave Keeffe. You've been amazing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.